Erron Black, sand-bending outlaw of Outworld, harnessing the desert itself to destroy his enemies. Nah, never mind, he's just a cowboy. He goes pew-pew. Kollector, undead cryptid straight from your nightmares with grave-robbing tendencies. Nah, he's a tax collector who buys and sells stuff on the black market. Also, there's tons of him walking around, an entire species, so he's nothing special. Man, could have at least had Pirate Kollector. Cetrion, mystical spirit of the forest with voodoo-like magic. She fights for good, but her appearance is just creepy enough to make you question her true nature. Nah, she's an elder god. The useless people everyone makes fun of all the time? Yeah, she's one of them. Why does her concept art still look better than the final version? Where'd the extra colors go? And the Grippas. Street warrior Jacqui Briggs, taking law into her own hands to clean up the most dangerous cities on Earth. Her father works for the government, but she knows that's too slow. Jacqui wants justice now, and nah, she's just literally Jax, only smaller and not a cyborg. Yay. Listen, we gotta sit down and have a talk with whoever finalizes characters at NetherRealm, because the concept artists are creating all this awesome stuff, but whoever has the final say keeps choosing the most generic, blandest designs. Mortal Kombat 1 won't even show the scrap designs, so who knows what we missed out on in that game. Today's video is all about the designs we never got, because honestly, most of these earlier looks are better than what we got in the final game, so yeah, I want to talk about them. You all loved my canceled characters video, so now let's talk about canceled designs. Leave a like down below for these amazing characters that never got to exist. If we get enough likes, then maybe NetherRealm will bring these designs back in the future. Alright, here we go. I wish we could start with Scarlet and Cyber Sub-Zero, but Mortal Kombat 9 doesn't show concept art like that. So we gotta skip to MKX, but if anyone somehow has access to Mortal Kombat 9 concept art, then please message me on Twitter, because I'd love to see it. But alright, Mortal Kombat X. First up, we have Erron Black, the Sandbender. This concept is so cool, and to this day, I'll never stop being salty that we missed out on sand-bending Erron Black. I still want him to use guns, don't get me wrong, and I love some elements of his cowboy design, but fighting with literal sand sounds interesting, and since the guy lives in the desert, it makes sense. The guy's in Mad Max world, so why not have sand powers? They took that power away in the final design. Now thankfully he does still fight with sand a little bit. He grabs it off the ground and tosses it in your face. That's right, the legendary pocket sand maneuver. Erron Black does that, and also fights with sand grenades, which don't ask me how that works. I have no clue why bombs filled with sand explode when you shoot them, but it happens in Mortal Kombat X. What are you gonna do? My point is, Erron Black does still fight with sand, it's just way lamer than having actual sand bending powers straight out of Avatar. And there's 3 different designs where he's using sand powers, so NetherRealm was heavily considering this as an option, but it just never made it into the final game. I do have one nitpick about this cancelled design though. He looks a little bit too much like Cabal, and maybe NetherRealm was worried about that, but then again, you can't play as Cabal in Mortal Kombat X anyway, so who really cares if Erron Black looks a little bit like him? And you know what I just realized? Erron Black loses the sand attacks in Mortal Kombat 11, and you know why? Because Garrus took them. That's right, Garrus fights with sand, and NetherRealm said we can't have 2 characters fighting with sand attacks. So if you're wondering why Erron Black lost so many moves in Mortal Kombat 11, that's why. And listen, I like Garrus. I think he's a cool character, but also a bit greedy. Come on, time manipulation and sand powers? You couldn't just give him one, you had to give him both and take away Erron Black's sand weapons? Come on. But alright, next up we have Monster Kollector. I'm skipping to Mortal Kombat 11 for now, but I'm going back to MKX, don't worry. Monster Kollector has to be some of the coolest designs I've ever seen. Check out his cryptid Wendigo look, it's so sick. And check out this necromorph looking dude straight out of Dead Space, that would have been cool too. I feel like since the 3D era, there hasn't been any literal monster characters, like Draman and Meat. You know, characters that are uncomfortable to look at. We're missing out on that in the NetherRealm era. Certain Kollector designs are straight up a body horror, where he's missing hands or limbs and has multiple heads just shoved onto his body. It's really interesting. Then we got the Erron Black looking one right here, which I just find funny. Do you think at one point Kollector was gonna be the guy that trained Erron Black? That would have been cool. But don't get it twisted, I like Kollector. In fact, I'm one of the few people that thinks Kollector should have returned in Mortal Kombat 1, but what we got is just way more generic than what could have been. Even Pirate Kollector is super interesting, and for Pete's sake, at one point in story mode, the heroes and villains fight on pirate ships, so Pirate pirate Kollector would have been perfect for this exact scene. Come on, and the fact that he steals stuff and is super greedy is really fitting if he's actually a pirate. It would have been way cooler than just tax collector guy who's part of a big species. But alright, next up, let's talk Voodoo Cetrion. Every single one of these designs for Cetrion is better than what we got in Mortal Kombat 11, and to this day, the fact we never got any of these as a costume DLC will never not keep me up at night. It's just so annoying what we lost, what we missed out on. Just look at how cool these are. They didn't have to be the base design, just make them DLC costumes. I would have paid money for these things. Take my wallet. Some people on social media claim these outfits look a bit too evil, and as a result, Cetrion's betrayal would have been way too easy to see coming. And on the one hand, I kind of understand that, but also Cetrion's betrayal made no sense anyway and came out of nowhere. There was zero build up, it just happened and didn't really surprise you, it just had you going, huh? So I would argue if Cetrion looked like this, her betrayal would have made a bit more sense, because even if she's fighting for the good guys, she looks a little bit sinister, so you kind of see that betrayal coming. But then we have this design right here, which is very similar to what we got in the game, except it has more color and is a bit more creative, like the feet are out, which makes sense if you're the mother of nature. I don't get why you would wear shoes. I digress, it's the extra colors that I'm mad about losing. Cetrion here has warm fall colors like orange and yellow, not just green and blue, so it just looks better. Cetrion in the final game looks like a water goddess, like Poseidon's daughter or something, because she has the coral and the blue skin, but the concept art looks like all of nature. You have the warm colors and the cool colors, the ocean and also the land. It makes way more sense. These two outfits right here are the best one though. Just change your eyes to blue or white, something softer that doesn't look evil, and I think it would have fit perfectly. I honestly do. Alright, back to Mortal Kombat X. Street Warrior Jacqui. These designs are actually cool and make Jacqui an interesting character who's not just a clone of Jax. Which begs the question, why did they not choose these designs? It's way more interesting. What we got in Mortal Kombat X is quite literally a second Jax, but she's a bit more nimble, and also has guns on her gauntlets because this era of NetherRealm was obsessed with guns, which unfortunately turned Jacqui into Jax 2.0. Everybody was like, why play Jacqui when I can play Jax? He's way cooler. Until they made Jacqui top tier in MK11, and then everybody was playing her if you wanted to win tournaments, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about designs in this video, and these earlier designs are 100% better than what we got. That's just a true statement. Here Jacqui looks like her own character, her own person in fact, with a personality that is different from her father, and therefore she would stand out. She'd still be related to him, which is cool. You got the next generation, the Kombat kids, but she's still unique, which is a big deal when you add new characters. They need to feel not redundant, which is what Jacqui is. I hate to say it, I love playing that character in Mortal Kombat 11, but design wise she is Jax 2.0. She's Little Jax. But speaking of combat kids, next up is pro wrestler Cassie Cage. I've mentioned her in past videos, even in a recent video, so I'll keep it short. The idea of Cassie Cage being a pro wrestler, a grappler, is just way more interesting than having her fight like Sonya Blade with guns and also having some of Johnny Cage's moves and his personality. Cassie Cage still feels kind of original in Mortal Kombat X since she borrows from two characters instead of just one, but she does still have some redundancies, right? She has Johnny Cage's moves and Sonya's moves, Sonya's weapons, the military background, but wrestler Cassie Cage is completely original, and the grappler style would have been super cool too. Just imagine Cassie doing wrestler moves with the green glow. It would be super cool. Now with that said, the costume here is not super interesting. I just love the idea of Cassie Cage being a pro wrestler, but the concept art right here, the overall outfit, is a bit lacking. But look at this Cassie design real quick. Very similar to Farah, huh? Kinda makes you think. Even this outfit is interesting because it says military, but also I'm really cool. So next up, let's talk about Mystic Kronika. I'm one of the biggest Kronika haters on YouTube. I don't like this character one bit. I think her concept was interesting, and I like the idea of a female boss character in Mortal Kombat. No issues there whatsoever. It's just her costume. It's so bland. Why do they keep picking the most bland outfit to put in the game? Especially when the concept art is so much cooler. Look how mystical Kronika appears. Keep in mind that this woman gave birth to elder gods. She should show that status in her costume. And for these four designs right here, I kinda get that vibe. She looks like someone who really is the master of time and the mother of gods. But then you got these designs. So lame, so boring, and they chose that design for Mortal Kombat 11, which is disappointing. I really don't understand why NetherRealm keeps choosing the blandest option to put in the final game. Along with boring alternate costumes too, take one of these concept art designs and put them in the game as a fun alternate costume. Not every costume in a fighting game needs to fit the theme of the character's base design. By the way, fun fact, originally Kronika was gonna be a dude. Like, the more you know. Alright everyone, there you have it, the cancelled Mortal Kombat designs that we never got to see in the games, despite them being better than the final versions we got. I'm not trying to roast the creative team, I'm really not. I just wanted to shout out the designs we never got, while also explaining how they are much cooler than what you chose for the final game. So in other words, the fans want these crazier, more out there costumes. Don't always pick the normie designs. Mortal Kombat fans aren't normies, we want crazy looks. And I'm still looking for the Mortal Kombat designs we never got to see. For Scarlet, Cyber Sub-Zero, any of the new characters, I want to see the lost Mortal Kombat 9 concept art. But okay everyone, thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, it helps the channel out a ton, and then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell so you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.